Yeah, hi there. These comments are for A, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And you're taking advantage of my free TOEFL speaking practice test evaluation. You sent me 2 speaking practice tests you want me to evaluate. I'm just going to evaluate one. There's no need to do both because whatever the problems are in the one, most likely those are the same problems in the other. And I don't have a lot of time, and it's free. Right now, I offer the free speaking practice test evaluation one time for each student. I do this for 2 reasons. Number one, you can find out what your TOEFL level is from 0 to 30 points based on my evaluation. Number two, I'm advertising my online course. Because if you do join my speaking bootcamp course, for example, I will give you the option to send me speaking practice every day, and I will give you exactly the same kind of feedback that I'm providing right now. Okay, so your question is, let's take a look here. It's what is better when preparing for an exam, studying alone or studying with a group? Now, I'm going to listen to your practice test. As I listen to it, I will probably look at the rubrics at the same time here. Give me a quick second. This helps me to give you a score. I never score a practice test without looking at the actual rubrics that ETS uses. And what I've done here is I kind of re-explain the rubrics that they have. Now, typically, when I listen to a practice test, I start at 3. Do I go up or do I go down from 3? That's typically what I do. Okay, here we go. Okay, good luck.
Personally, I feel that it's better to study alone. This is because if you're studying in a group, it's quite possible that you might lose your confidence sometime, or you might feel overconfident. You may not be able to really find the group that fits you. For example, if you are a middle bencher, you may find a topper in your group and he might just reduce your confidence. And according to my experience, at least, many of the group studies, they end up with nothing. Like, people just start the group studies and they just talk about different topics which are not relevant for the exams, and you seem to get distracted. But when you're studying alone, you tend to give more focus on what you're doing, and hence in this way you can have a better efficiency. Personally,
Okay, so this is good enough. So I'm going to go down from 3. So let's take a look here, see what we have. You answered the question, but it says because of problems with intelligibility and overall connectedness of ideas, your meaning is obscured. So you have unclear articulation, awkward intonation, choppy, or not, maybe not that, but unclear articulation. Language use, not too bad. You're limited. Basic ideas are expressed with limited detail. So there's at least 2 problems, a problem with delivery, a problem with topic development. So I'm putting you right now at about 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30. I'm going to give you fair on your speaking. Okay, let's listen to it one more time, see if we can see what some of these problems are.
I feel that it's better to study alone.
Okay, so you like to study alone, but you need to pronounce the O, alone, not alone, but alone. So that's a long vowel sound you need practice with.
Personally, I feel that it's better to study alone.
Okay, I wouldn't even say I feel. You said personally already, I feel. You're using a lot of unnecessary words in there, and they don't do anything to advance your argument.
So because if you're studying in a group, it's quite possible that you might lose your confidence sometime, or you might feel overconfident.
Okay, part of your problem is you're trying to talk about studying in a group and studying alone, but you don't have enough time to do that and give specific details in both of those areas. So I encourage you with this kind of question. You can say, although some people like to study in groups, I prefer to study alone because, state your 2 support points in the beginning, and then develop each of those points in the body of your response with appropriate specific detail.
you may not be able to really find the group that fits you. For example, if you are a middle bencher, you may find a topper in your group and he might just reduce your confidence.
You're using you, that second person point of view, but it's not needed. I encourage you for all integrated speaking and writing tasks to use either you want to use typically, actually not integrated, for the independent task here, you can use the first and the third person point of view, but you don't need the you point of view. The whole purpose here is to give examples from your personal experience to illustrate your idea. You don't have to talk directly to your audience. You don't have to talk about things in generic manner. You want to be very specific in the details that you're including. And by using the word you, that's not very specific. In fact, it's unclear, it's ambiguous, it's impersonal. And that's not what you're trying to do here.
And according to my experience at least, many of the group studies, they end up...
This is according to my experience, this is what you do after the first 5 or 6 minutes of your response. You start off with your experience and you explain the details to help illustrate the argument about how you like studying alone.
With nothing, like people just start the group studies and they just talk about different topics which are not relevant for the exams.
Okay, a couple of other things here. You have the T and the D consonant sounds. Write this down. You need to work on pronouncing these two sounds more clearly. You're also having trouble with the bilabial consonants, the P and the B sounds, as in bat and pat, or tip and dip. You're kind of almost pronouncing these as the same sound. So some of these unclear pronunciations with your consonant sounds are making it difficult to understand what you're saying.
And you seem to get distracted. But when you're studying alone, you tend to give more focus on what you're doing, and hence in this way you can have...
It gives me more focus on what I am doing, not what you are doing.
A better efficiency. Personally,
Okay, so I think my first impression is pretty good. Usually my first impression is pretty accurate. 2.5 out of 4, 19 points out of 30. All right, so you really need to make a lot of changes with delivery, also topic development. With language use, the big issue is make sure for all independent and integrated speaking and writing tasks, you choose the appropriate point of view. That means first person or third person point of view. It means you don't use the second person point of view. All right, so thank you for completing this practice test. If I gave you some advice, I would encourage you right now to focus more on pronunciation and overall speaking, and don't worry as much about the TOEFL, because until you can speak clearly and naturally, it doesn't matter how much TOEFL study you do. You must solve your delivery problems. Once you're speaking very clearly and very fluently, then you can work on the topic development issues, which are actually quite easy to solve. And your language use issues are pretty easy to solve. But the delivery problems are going to take time, right? So what do you not do? Don't register to take the TOEFL exam. It's a waste of money, especially if you want to get higher than 26. Your goal now is to solve these problems. All right? And like I said at the beginning of the video, I actually have a very good TOEFL speaking bootcamp course exactly designed for you. I can help you get 26. It'll probably take maybe 2 or 3 months. If you do join my course, I'll be very happy to have you as a student. All right?